Hi guys, Tommy here and welcome to my channel How To Tommy, where I basically teach you how to do things. In this video, if you've clicked on it, you'll probably know then it is how to make money online, but that's predominantly using the method of selling online using Amazon FBA. For those of you that are not aware, Amazon FBA stands for Fulfilled by Amazon, and yes, it's as a beginner, it's quite user friendly. It's going to be a very open, honest, transparent view on the whole process, all the options, the methods that are available to you. And obviously it's going to be very honest, as in I actually do it myself. I am a seller on Amazon. It's something I do sometimes full-time, sometimes part-time, depending on what else I've got on. And that's one of the beauties of what is available to you as a seller on Amazon. Before I sort of go into what I'm doing at the minute and why I'm here, just to sort of give you an insight, I'm going to go through the 4 different models that are available. I'm going to jump off the screen but onto the computer for a second first. I'm going to go over the 4 different models that are available, the selling models that are sort of available to you guys as potential sellers on Amazon, the pros and cons, the ins and outs, and you can sort of decipher for yourself which you feel is most attractive. Spoiler alert, I am predominantly a retail arbitrage seller, which I'm going to explain in the videos we continue anyway. But once you come through that part of the video, I'm going to explain to you what I'm going to be doing now, why I'm sitting in a car park here about to go into this shop, and the ins and outs of what the process that I follow then to source products and then sell them on Amazon. So until you get through the next part, I will see you on the other side. Oh, I forgot to say, if you find at any stage of this, which you should do, because I say this is a very open, honest, transparent insight into how it is, into the potential of selling on Amazon FBA, because I don't have any courses to sell you. I'm not trying to sell you any products. I don't have affiliate links to anything. I've just useful user guides and links I'm going to put in the description. So with all that being said, if you find this video was of any help to you, any benefit to you, please don't forget to, I'm a new channel, so please don't forget to like the video, subscribe to my channel for future content. With that out of the way, I apologise, I just had to get that in. Is that something you have to do as a YouTuber, and it's all about stroking the back of the algorithm to make sure that YouTube likes you, and more importantly, so it helps that this video actually get out to more people, which I would love, because I genuinely am creating this video for some value, to try and help people make additional income, or you can actually, the sky's your limit with regards to this. But I'm not going to spoil it all for you. I'm going to go into the different methods now, and I will see you on the other side. Hi guys, so as you can see, that's me on the computer now, and what we're going to do is we're going to go over a couple of sort of the basics now. I apologise if some of you guys have heard of some of this before and I'm repeating myself, but this video is pretty much designed for beginners. It's beginner friendly for anybody who is thinking about them using Amazon in some shape or fashion to sell online. So we're going to go over the basics. First of all, what is Amazon FBA? And I apologise in advance as well. When it comes to this video, this presentation and so on, it'll not be the most professional you've seen on Amazon today, or sorry, YouTube today. There's a good example, but I can assure you it'll be one of the most open, honest and informative, and you should find, regardless of what level you're at with your selling or knowledge you have of Amazon, it should provide some value, which is what this is all about. It's all about trying to help you guys out and create something that's of real value. So we'll get into the actual slideshow. Apologies, I'll try and keep it as informative as possible and as quick as possible. And these lists I'm going to provide you guys, there aren't exhaustive lists, so I've kept it quite short and concise for now, just to get the relevant points across. Okay, so first of all, what is Amazon FBA? Now, FBA stands for Fulfilled by Amazon, okay? And it's where you get to sell on Amazon's platform using various models, which we're going to discuss in a second. So it's basically a business in a box opportunity. So basically, regardless of what method you use, you're going to be sending products or items into Amazon on their platform, and from there they take over. They basically do the advertising or listing of the products to a degree, depending on what model you use here. And then on top of that, then Amazon are already the biggest online retailer in the world. So you're already sort of touching on top of they've got their client base, their customer base already there. People sitting with their credit cards uploaded, ready to click. You have the best traffic sources in the world coming to Amazon, and the marketing stuff. You basically benefit from all that. Okay, so all you have to do on your side of things is whatever model you follow is the sourcing of the product and getting it in to link it to your account, your seller's account, and then they do the rest basically. So if you do your side with regards to sourcing, send it in and they do the rest for you. That even return, if there are any issues with any of your products, if there are any customer complaints, any returns, so on and so forth, shipping, returns, all that, again, Amazon's customer service deals with it, so you don't have to. So that's all pretty good. Then basically, we want to discuss then what's the 4 business models that Amazon, as if you want to be a seller on Amazon, what sort of opportunities are there out there for you, what models could you follow? So there's 4 that I know of to date. I don't know of any extras that come out, but Amazon and Jeff Bezos, or Bezos, or whatever we say his name, he's always developing new ways of expanding his business, which is just one of the reasons he's such an entrepreneur. But as for now, at the time of recording this video, there's 4 different business models. So there's private label, wholesale arbitrage, online arbitrage, and retail arbitrage. Now, arbitrage isn't a word I'm great at saying, but what it basically means is where you're able to take the product, find a product that's cheaper than what it's being currently sold for on Amazon, and then you send it into Amazon and command the higher price, and then you basically profit the difference. So that's what arbitrage means. There's different types of arbitrage out there. There's actually like gambling arbitrages out there as well. Just again, was where you get you find a better price one place than a different place, and you basically profit the difference. Okay. So basically, private label to start. Then, what is private label? Now, it's where you're finding an existing product that's probably already being sold on Amazon. You then find a supplier for that product, and then what you do is add a variation to that product and create a brand around that product. So, for instance, we're talking about a wooden spoon, for instance, that's currently doing well on Amazon. There's ways of qualifying these as well, but we're not going to get into too much depth about all that for now. But say you find a wooden spoon that's selling consistently well on Amazon, and you find that it's just a simple wooden spoon and it's selling well, and you're thinking, right, I believe there's a market for that wooden spoon, and there's people making good money on that, and that wooden spoon's going at the minute for, say, £5 or $5, whatever way you want to look at it, right? If you will maybe find that item, if you do a bit of sourcing in China, for instance, on different sites like Alibaba, for instance, which is a wholesaler in China, you'll find there's people who are making that product for maybe less than $1, right? So basically, you're buying that product in bulk from them, and that seller selling it on Amazon. Okay. Now, what you might want to do is to piggyback on the back of them sales is you want to maybe create your own product. So you want your own variation of a wooden spoon, and you're thinking, I could add value to that and make a bit of a difference by adding my own brand. Say, for instance, you've got like a honeybee brand, or for something like that. Just a bee's come into my head, for instance, a cute face of a bee, and you put that on the handle of the item, and you think, instead of a wooden spoon, I would like a metallic handle, or something that makes it look different, or even an attachment to the wooden spoon, something that adds value, that makes it a different variation. And what you might find is then when you contact your suppliers, ask them if they can do that variation for you, whether it be your brand on it, change the colors, change the style slightly to make it stand out. You might find that when you send that into Amazon, then it will sell above the existing seller, because it's adding value. The customer sees that it's a better product, or it takes off within that market. So that's what private label is. It's creating your own product around an existing product. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. Again, if you have any questions to any parts of this video below, stick them in the comments below, and I will do my best to get back to you. Okay, so what's the pros and cons then of this method? Well, first of all, the pros, it's quite hands-off with regards to production. Now, there will be ways that you have to learn how to interact with these people. For instance, if they're in China, if your suppliers are in China, you find a good supplier or somebody that's able to do what you want them to do, well then, once you sort of contact them and you're able to come to negotiations on what you're actually looking, excuse me, then they'll do the rest. They'll do the actual manufacturing for you, and then they will actually, there's methods in place already for them to actually ship directly to Amazon on your behalf, and all you do then is link it to your seller's account. Okay, because of the nature of the items that you're maybe getting made and what value they can command on Amazon, you can maybe then, it's all about supply and demand and economies of scale. So if you're able to order, sort of buy in bulk, since it's 500 units, 1,000 units, so on and so forth, you normally find that the greater the amounts you're able to buy, the better, the lower the cost per unit, which means then, so for instance, say you're able to sell, because your product has got a better variation than the one that's currently been listed, you may be able to command a higher price. So instead of selling that for $5 or £5, you sell it for 10. But you maybe find that because of the orders, the larger orders you're placing in, instead of that costing you $1 to make or £1 to make, you can maybe get for like 50p, for instance, and that means then you've got a much greater margin, but the profitability or the opportunity to make a greater profit is greater. Okay. Plus on top of that, then you're able to create your own brand. So if you get an item that takes off and people love it, you may find then that if you create variations of that product or extend your brand. So for instance, we're talking about a wooden spoon. If you get a ladle or a kitchen knife or something like that, again, that marries up with your brand, the same style, textures, colors, branding, you'll find that you've maybe created a customer base who loves your first product, and then they may jump on the sales for your second product. And again, you then build a brand, a bigger range, and again, items that are selling, or you start to add more consistently profitable items and scale up your business. Okay, so the potential then, as you can see on the last one there, the potential is huge. Okay, when it comes to, you can obviously then bring in, if you get an item that sort of starts to sell, you can then sort of take advantage of them sales and the timeline, and then think ahead and order more and replenish your stock quickly so you can keep on top, build momentum on your sales rather than lose out. Okay, again, this is an oversight. I'm trying to not get into too much detail on it, but if you have any more questions, again, comments below. The cons, however, of private label, okay, it's quite first of all, it's a very steep, I'm sort of bypassing the first one here, it's a steep learning curve. Okay, there's a lot of different processes within this actual model before you get to the final stage of selling, okay, and getting it into Amazon and listing it and selling it. If it's a new product, for instance, then you may find you need to get professional pictures and images of that item. Again, Amazon has certain rules and regulations in terms of types of pictures you're allowed to upload and link to your product. And to make sure that you don't get your product rejected for its listing, you then need to spend more money or pay somebody, a professional, to take them pictures for you. So there's a lot higher startup costs. And again, on top of that, if we're talking about getting a product made, if you want to maybe do it properly and first of all get a sample of that product, what you're going to have to do is you usually find that sample, because of who you're dealing with, they don't like doing small orders, very niche items, and there'll be quite a large cost linked to that sample till you get a product that you're happy with, that you want to stand by as your brand and sell. And then the minimum order quantities from these guys, when you do place your final order or you're moving your first order, the startup costs are still quite high. So the minimum order, they'll take maybe, for instance, 1,000 units, whereas maybe elsewhere, if you're not going the private label unit route, you can buy smaller orders, you can budget a bit better, but the startup cost and the capital needed to get started in this venture is quite high. Okay, and we're talking thousands here, we're not talking hundreds. If you want to be successful with this, you're talking thousands. On top of that, then you may find that what you think is a good USP or a unique selling point for that item, that variation maybe doesn't take off, and you may have to sort of rinse and repeat this system a couple of times and spend a lot of money at the start till you find a hot product, a product that's taken off for you. So if I give you an example here, then to say for instance your first two products aren't hits, you have missed the mark, your timing's been bad, or just there's somebody else has come in on top of you, you've had a good idea but somebody else has got there first. Well, you may find that first product that you've developed has cost you maybe say £5,000, and or $5,000. That's being conservative, but you may do that twice, so you're now out £10,000 or $10,000 till you get maybe the third item that takes off. You now have to recover that £10,000 or dollar deficit before you can actually start making profit from the third item. All right, and at the same time, you still need to cover your costs for your third item. So say for instance, again, we'll just go with the 5,000 ballpark there. you now have to make 5,000 in profit from your sales from the third item to now get yourself even to a break even. So it's a very steep learning curve. It's quite risky in that respect, and there's a lot of there's a high capital or high cost needed in the start to make sure you're successful with this model. And then the last one, and this is probably the most frustrating, say you do find a product then that takes off and the market can't get enough of it and you can't even fulfill it quick enough and you're making a lot of money with it. There's nothing against the rules for Amazon to identify that product on their own platform, create their own variation, steal your idea, steal your listing, put Amazon's branding on it, and all of a sudden you're now out of the competition. You're out of the running, looking for the next product. So again, that can be very frustrating. That has happened, and it will happen time and time again, because it's, at the end of the day, regardless of what business model you follow, you have to follow Amazon's rules. You have got the luxury of using their services and using their site, but unfortunately that means that they can become your competition as well. The next model then we're talking about is wholesale arbitrage. So as we said before, arbitrage is where you buy in low because you've seen it's going for you're able to buy it at a much lower price than what it's going for on Amazon, and then source that listing on Amazon and pick up the difference and make the profit from the difference. Now, wholesale arbitrage is basically where you're using the arbitrage model, but you're sourcing the products from a wholesaler. Okay. So the pros with the wholesale arbitrage, I can nearly speak today, is that first of all, you can source a larger amount of profitable items. So what you'll normally find 9 times out of 10 with regards to wholesalers, they are obviously selling, they're the middleman between the manufacturer and retail. So you'll find that most wholesale products on the whole will actually be a lot less than the retail value. So quite quickly you'll find, if you get access to a wholesale account, you'll find the majority of them products that you're looking at will be cheaper on that wholesaler than it will be anywhere, whether it be online or in the shops, because that's how these guys make money. They get, say for instance, we're talking your local shop, the local shop's able to buy it in at a lower price, then sell it at the recommended retail price, and they'll pocket the difference. So it makes sense that you or I, if we get access to a wholesale account, them products are going to be 9 times out of 10 or 99 times out of 100, they're going to be much cheaper than what they're going for online. That includes Amazon. So 9 times out of 10 you're going to find a lot of good profitable items on a wholesaler account. Okay, now I will put a clause there. We're talking about proper wholesale accounts, because there are a lot of accounts online that identify themselves as wholesalers, but when you do the comparison, you find that they're either, apologies folks, I actually cut off there by my recording, but the show must go on, so apologies for that. Yes, as I was saying, when I talk about proper wholesale arbitrage, or sorry, proper wholesale accounts online, is what you find. There's a lot of, if you were just to search, say, toy wholesaler, for instance, in the Google, you'll find there's a lot of websites that come up that claim to be wholesalers, but if you or I can either see the price head on, or we can get easy access to that website without sort of supplying too much information about maybe potentially with a VAT registration number or whatever it might be, a business number, and if what you'll normally find then is they're not proper wholesalers, and what I mean by that is then you'll find the prices 9 times out of 10 aren't cheaper than what you find on other retail outlets, whether it be online, in shops, or even Amazon. So you may find that it's hard to find profitable items on them wholesaler accounts because they're not actually true wholesaler accounts. Okay, hope that makes some sense. Again, any questions about any of this video, don't hesitate, drop me a comment below, and I will do my best to get back to you as quick as I can. Okay. With regards to wholesalers, and again, other pros of wholesale arbitrage is that you will have less rivals or less sellers, so a lower competition with regards to the wholesale accounts. So because there's a higher barrier to entry to get access to these accounts, then there'll be a lot less people who have access openly, and then that way there'll be less people sourcing through the products that you've found in your accounts, and then which equals then less competition when it comes to Amazon. On top of that, then what you'll find is that there's a lot of people who aren't following the wholesale arbitrage model. It's a wee bit less saturated. So again, even though there may be thousands of people who have access to your wholesaler account that you found and got access to, It doesn't necessarily mean that a lot of them are actually Amazon sellers. In fact, a very small minority of them may be aware of the whole opportunity that it holds with regards to their access in their account. And Amazon, they're not following that model. They may be genuinely on that wholesale account for other business models, like whether they be self-employed or they have their own business, bricks and mortar business, and they're using that supplier for them, for their business. So they're not touching Amazon at all. So there's a lot less competition for anybody who has access to a wholesaler. On top of that, then, if you find a really niche or really unique, you seem to find a wholesaler that not really anybody's heard of, then there's a greater opportunity for you then to command a higher price for your items on Amazon, and again a lot less competition, which keeps you then keeps you what they call in charge of the buy box, where basically once the customer finds your product and clicks, you're the first person that's getting the sale, not anybody else you're up against. Okay, again, I don't mean to go into too much detail on it, but just trying to give you some quick insight into what's going on. Then on top of that, then, if you have access to a wholesaler account, and say for instance you buy in, they have a minimum order, but it's 100 units for instance, and you buy 100 units and ship them into Amazon, and you find that they're selling very, very quickly, you can quickly go back to your wholesaler, find that product, source it very quickly, and source it in bulk and resend it. And you can maybe even work out then, for instance, if you send in 100 units for instance, and you find that they're selling within a month, then you know that if you get 200, 300, 400 units, that's going to tie you over for a certain length of time. So you can sort of start to play the game, get ahead of yourself, and on top of that, you can maybe take advantage then of economies of scale. So if you're ordering 200, 300, 400 units from your wholesaler the next time, rather than the original 100 order, you may find that you get command a better price again, and again it's better profit margin for you at the end of the line. Okay, that's the pros then of wholesale arbitrage in a nutshell. The cons then, first of all, because there's a sort of higher barrier to entry, then you need certain details and certain things in place, whether it be a VAT registration number, an account number, a business number. You need to provide, maybe to get access to really good wholesale accounts, you maybe need to have proof of a business address and this sort of thing. You may even have to furnish them with more details on bills and receipts and that sort of thing before you can get true access to a very good wholesale account. The rule of thumb is that if it's a lot harder to get into, then it's probably worth the effort, because there's a lot of people who are going to be put off by that. But on top of that, then, that they are a true wholesaler, they're really putting anybody who's access to their account, they're standing them accountable for who they are and how they're selling. So if they don't want their products to be sold at the wrong price, or for their sellers to have a bad reputation or give them a bad reputation, so then there'll be a higher barrier to entry. If you prove yourself, the rewards will probably be there. There'll be a lot less competition and a lot more profitable products for you. So it can be hard to gain access, and it can be good sources, and what I mean is good actual wholesalers can be hard to find. So it's like the toy shop example, the toys, when you put in the Google toy wholesaler or a variation of that, that's not necessarily going to be the actual, they're not going to be wholesalers, probably not going to be wholesalers, and they're not going to be good wholesalers if they're claiming to be wholesalers. And what you'll find is that the true wholesalers for items like that won't even have a name that mirrors up with anything that's toy related. So you could have Black and White Ink could be the wholesaler for toys, and that sort of entertainment industry. You just don't know, and that's the thing, you and I just don't know. You need to be in the know, and to find that you need to sort of jump a few loops and think outside the box on how you find these guys and source them, whether it be if you have somebody that's within that niche, or you befriend a local toy retailer, for instance, and they happen to slip some information to you, or you go through trade magazines, go to trade journals, go to trade shows, that sort of thing. They won't be obvious and they won't be easily found on Google, and that's on purpose. Okay. Then the capital itself, when we're talking about beginner friendly or startup friendly, the capital can normally be a bit higher than other models out there. So again, that's something to bear into consideration with this type of model, is that, so say you finally get to that point where you found a profitable item on a wholesaler, you've got access to the account, you found a good product and you want to buy it, there still will be a minimum order quantity. So that could be a certain amount of units of that item, or just a certain value, order value, checkout order value from that wholesaler. So there, they may limit your account to your new account, for instance, as well. They may limit your order to, you need to spend at least £1,000 or $1,000 for our American friends. So again, you need to bear that in consideration, that if you do go down this route, then you probably will need a larger startup capital to get going. The last business model then that we're going to discuss again is using the arbitrage type of model again, but it's, apologies, this is not the last, it's the second last. Again, I'm keeping this live recording, I'm trying to reduce the takes and just give you the open, honest information here. So online arbitrage, which again is sourcing, using the arbitrage model, but online and using websites basically. So we're going to source through websites to find products then that we can flip on Amazon. So the pros of online arbitrage, well, everybody in this day and age, whether it be through a smartphone, tablet, laptop, through their house, whatever, have access to Wi-Fi, have access to the internet, and therefore have access to websites. So everybody has access to websites, so it's easy for anybody to go on their website within seconds, have a look through and start to compare prices of retail outlets such as Tesco's Express online, or Asda, or Walmart and Target for any of my US audience. So it's very easy to quickly go on to a website, have a look at the products they're selling, see if they're being sold on Amazon, and compare the price basically. So it's very accessible to anybody. Okay, because of that, then sourcing the products is convenient, and on top of that, evaluating or qualifying the products can be a bit more convenient, because there are softwares and people have designed softwares and programs out there to basically go onto a page of a website and compare it for you quickly to highlight the products within your criteria that are profitable or are selling at the minute on Amazon for more than what you see them on that website. So it can definitely help speed up the process for you, make life a lot easier sitting at your laptop or your phone. And again, the actual capital that's needed for these can be a lot lower, so it can be more so what you want to spend rather than what you have to spend. So if you only want to spend $100 or £100 to start off with, which is very reasonable, you may find 2 or 3 profitable products. You may find, say, one product that is £100 each or $100 each, and you may find another product that's selling for $10 or £10. You may want to go with 10 of that unit rather than one, and you can play about with it. There's a little bit more room for you to play about with it in accordance to your budget, so it's a little bit more user friendly in that way. The cons, however, then is because everybody has access, again, then there's a lot more people following this model and a much greater competition. On top of greater competition, it becomes if it's more competitive on the buying side, it's also more competitive on the selling side on Amazon. And what you'll find is there'll be products there that have maybe 20 or 30 people selling, have listings for that same product, and they'll start to go into a price wars because they want to be the lowest price, they want to be getting the sales, they want to get the profit, get rid of their stock and go again. And it can create a bit of a price war, and it means then that the profit margin for each of these items is normally, when it comes to online arbitrage, a lot lower, unfortunately. So you're working off lower apologies, again, live video, you're working off lower profitable margins or profit margins for each product, but again, you can make up by that by buying more units. Okay, so you can make up for that. It's not always the end of the line, but with that being said, a lot of online retailers have got wind of what people are doing. They don't like resellers. They don't like people like you and I who want to buy online to flip it. They're aware of the products that they're selling for lower price than Amazon. They have people clued into all this. And if you go on to buy, for instance, the latest Barbie doll, because we all know Barbie, and you find that you want to buy as much stock as possible. Your budget allows you to buy 50 of them Barbie dolls. You'll find that your account, even if you buy them at the start, there will be a restriction put in place and you will be refunded the difference. And they may only allow you to buy 5 of them because they've caught on that you're buying an excessive amount that you're probably reselling, whether it be through your own retail outlet, but more so they probably know you're going to sell on the likes of eBay or Amazon in this case. So they'll restrict your account because they don't like people sort of taking advantage of their prices in that respect. Not really sure why what the long-term issue with that is, but it's happening more and more now, so it's something to bear in mind if you do go to follow this business model. And then the last model we're going to talk about then is retail arbitrage, which I'm going to try and keep a bit shorter because I'm starting to lose my voice. I want to send you to Tommy, who's in the car waiting for you for the next part. And you've sort of got through all the different arbitrage models, so you'll know quite quickly what this is. So retail arbitrage is basically where you're going, rather than, again, following that arbitrage model, but rather than doing it through a wholesaler or rather than doing it through the websites, you're doing it on physical shops. So you're going to the shop itself, you're qualifying the products in the shop and buying them, bringing them home, and then sending them into Amazon to be sold on at a profit. The pros then with retail arbitrage is you have lower competition. So in your area, you will have access to shops and stuff. They'll not necessarily be. Retail arbitrage isn't as popular because it takes a wee bit more effort, a wee bit more work with that. But the people who are willing to put in the effort and the work will be the ones that come out with the profit and with the products. Because a lot of people are quite lazy in this day and age. They want the easier way out, or the convenient method, which means that there'll be less competition for you to go source in your local shops, because very little people are doing it. And then if there's less people doing it, that means then there's more opportunities for you when you go into these shops. I hope you can hear me okay, because I am starting to lose my voice slightly. With that, I have found from my own experiences then there's a much better profit margin because there's lower competition, and you can find things that at a really good price, whether it be like products that are on offer in a specific store or shop, or there's a clearance aisle and that sort of thing. You can find that there's better profit margins in there per unit you find, which is always good. You can quicker qualify and buy your products because you go in the shop, you source it, you find a profitable item, you're able to scan it through your Amazon Sellers app, which I'm going to show you further on down the line in this video. You can go through your qualifying process, buy the item there and then take it home, ship it. It's all a bit more immediate rather than even wholesale or online. You're waiting for the product maybe to come to you first. So there's that delay, okay? And on top of that then, when you're out and about in shops, people start to ask you what you're doing. Now, you don't really want to let a lot of people know that you're reselling. That's bad practice. And again, it's like the online thing that can restrict your account. But what you may find is you also befriend people who will give you inside knowledge on about an offer that's coming up or others. So again, you can sort of source wholesalers this way. So that insider knowledge can become very valuable to you. Apologies folks, I'm back again. I had to get myself a bit of water because I'm starting to lose my voice there. And if you can't hear what I'm saying, then it's not a lot of use to either you or I. But to conclude then, there's a point I've missed actually in this short list. Again, I'm trying to keep this brief and concise as best I can to go through, to be quite thorough and get you the main points for each topic here. But probably the best pro out of all this is that you can, as a beginner, it's user friendly because with retail arbitrage, you can work to your budget, okay? So if you want to start off, and this is the way I started off, and this is the way I would suggest you guys start off, if you haven't a lot of capital or a lot of money lying about, which a lot of us don't in this day and age, and that's one of the reasons you will be looking for a different method to make an additional income and maybe even one day replace your current income, is that you won't have a lot of money to spare. And if that's the case, that was my case. So I had a budget originally of £100, and I followed this model of retail arbitrage because I knew then that I could first of all, I knew there was better margins with regards to retail in comparison to the other models, but I knew then I wasn't subject to that minimum order quantity, so I could pick the amount that of items that I bought in alliance with my budget, and I could work there. And what I basically try to do is that I spent £100 and I kept an eye on the items, and once I got enough sales, and once the items started to sell and I sort of recouped that original money, I then used it again and then kept the profit. But there's other ways of doing that. You can sort of, if you want to just double and double up, if you're in that position to do that, then you could, for instance, turn that £100 into 150, 200, 250, and use that to scale up, source more products for a higher amount, buy more products, and start to scale and sort of snowball. It has a snowball effect. So that's probably the biggest pro with regards to retail arbitrage, is you can set your own budget, okay? So it's very user beginner friendly in that respect. The cons then of retail arbitrage is, first of all, unlike the other methods, you have to travel to stores, and it depends on your. I've put in location limitations here because the two sort of marry up. It depends how close are you to shops and how many shops are there in your area. It can sort of go a different way too. Say for instance, I'm going to show you later down the video. I'll do a quick run round on sort of what I look out for, and I'm going around a shop called The Range, which is a chain within the UK. And what you might find is, for instance, that a lot of their stock will marry up with stocks in their other outlets. So say you do find a product that's that qualifies and is profitable within one shop, then you can first of all ask that shop if they have any more. That's a wee tip for you, sort of inside tip there, that although they may have one or two items on the shelves, they may have more of that item in the stockroom. Never hurts to ask. And what you might find is you can walk out with them with 10 or 15 of them items, rather than just take it for granted the only items they have or only stock they have is on the shelves. But then again, you can then ask them, and they'll do this for you, ask to ring around or ask around their other outlets to see if they have the same item. And what you might find is then that if you found a good item and it qualifies, and it's you think it's going to be a good seller and a very profitable item, then it's probably worth your time to then drive around to them other stores, as long as they're not too far away, and pick up, just clear them out of that stock of all them stores. At the same time, this could be a negative because of the cost of travel, will it be your fuel and that sort of thing, depends how you're getting there. And then time, there's a time restraint where if you are working a full-time job, this does take time to do that. So you might find that the opening hours and closing hours marry up quite close to your current work, or just the actual physical time to get around these places can be hard as well. So that's a slight con. On top of that then, gating issues. Now I haven't touched on that. So it's basically where a certain brand, for instance, Hasbro is a toy brand, a very well-known toy brand, Fisher-Price is another, that you may find that they have set, for people like us who are retail arbitraging and just have immediate access to their products, they have set restrictions that have gated that item on Amazon. And basically what that means is you have to provide proof that you're able to buy that item from a wholesaler who's sort of verified, so that it's to stop people sending in products that are either fake or of poor condition, or just it's to provide some accountability for your sales process, to make sure again that the Amazon seller, or Amazon buyer or consumer, when they buy a product of their brand, for instance Hasbro, they buy a game off them, that it arrives to them as it should, and it's the genuine item, a genuine article, and it's in good condition, so it doesn't then have a bad reflection on that brand. Okay, so they're protecting their brand, and by doing that, they will gate. It's called gating, where they set an IP restriction or intellectual property rights restriction on that item. So then you have to show a bit more burden of proof about where you're buying the products, and that's normally from a wholesaler. Now, I know you're going to sort of think alarm bells there, Tommy, because I don't want to get into wholesale yet. I want to try this retail first, test the water, and scale up, which I totally agree with. But there are other services out there. I may even provide links to Facebook groups below. But there are, even if Facebook's a good place to source, actually, there are people who specialize in helping you on gate for certain brands or products or categories. Okay, so I'll not get into too much depth about that, but there is help out there for you, so you can continue on your journey then as a retail arbitrager. We've touched on the location limits, and then the last thing is, this is one of the bigger downsides, because this has been a frustration of mine before, is if you've maybe found one or two items that are absolutely gold items, like they're selling, you've categorized them, they're going to sell really, really fast, and your profit margin is fantastic. Just to give you an idea, I have found items that I have bought for £10, which is about $12. They have sold for £80. So you're 8 times in your money, regardless of what currency you use. And like the items, I was only able to buy 3 of them because that's all the shop had. They sold really, really. It was actually like an Aquaman, specialized Aquaman doll, which talked when you squeeze his legs and stuff. So it was a large item. For whatever reason, the shops weren't selling it. It wasn't selling well in the shops, but it was selling like hotcakes on Amazon. So I could only actually get 3 of these in total through this chain of retail outlets, and they weren't getting any more in. So I was quite frustrated that I was restricted on the amount of stock I could actually get of that. Once it was sold, it was sold. I couldn't get any more, so it wasn't replenishable. And although items may be replenishable through, depending on what you found, it may be replenishable in that shop or chain, but you'll still find you're restricted the actual amount you can get in, because that shop's only bringing a certain amount to fill the people that are coming in to that shop, and they're not necessarily thinking about you or I who want to buy in a larger quantity. So that can be frustration. Now, overall, I'd sort of let the cat out of the bag, but basically the model that I'm going to sort of teach you a little bit further about in this video, it's the one that I recommend you start as a beginner, is retail arbitrage. So we're going to go back to me, Tommy, that's sitting in the car. We're going to take a wee walk around. As I say, the outlet I'm using for this video is a place called The Range, because there's quite a few around where I live, and it's one that I would regularly use to source products. We're going to walk and talk around. I'm going to let you know what I'm doing, explain what I'm looking out for, and if we find a few items, we're going to pop them up and give you a quick idea of how they're qualified. From that, then I'm going to come back onto the computer, and we're going to finish off here where I'm going to actually show you the process that I follow personally when it comes to the buying and selling, the process that I follow on this side of the fence before I actually send the item into Amazon. So hopefully some of that information, if you're doing this even already, it may still help you or benefit you. To say, it's a very open, honest video where I'm trying to provide you guys with a lot of real life value on what actually, how this process actually works, rather than trying to sell you a course or a product or any of that nonsense. This is probably the most genuine video on Facebook selling. Sorry, apologies. Not Facebook selling, Amazon FBA selling. I keep getting them mixed up. Amazon selling that you'll find on YouTube today. So with all being said, let's jump over to Tommy and get off the screen.
Hello there. So you're back again, and yes, now that you've gone through the 4 different business models that are potentially available to you on Amazon, then you'll know then you'll be a bit more clued in when I say to you that I follow the retail arbitrage model in particular. I just like it because it's a wee bit more flexible. If you have a full-time job, which I also do, then you can sort of work it around your job. I find that you can budget whatever way suits you that day, week, month, whatever way you work. It's something you can scale up, and it's something then that you can sort of do off the cuff, that you don't have to be sitting at a computer, or you don't have to have access to wholesale accounts, and you can play it by ear regardless of how you feel. So if you're out and about, I actually quite enjoy, I've never been a big fan of shopping. Maybe that's a man thing, maybe that's me being sexist, I don't know, but because then I know I'm buying products to make money, I quite enjoy it. So it sort of takes that relief for the stress that used to be there with shopping, and it's actually made it fun again. So there is that aspect of it too. It's almost like a fun hobby, and making money, like, it's just a bonus basically. So it's quite cool that you never know actually what you're going to find, because like I've sold all sorts on Amazon, from toys, which is a predominant seller, but toys that have been marked up, like you find them at even a normal price. It doesn't always have to be a clearance price. They could be at just a normal price, but you find they're extremely marked up on Amazon for whatever reason. Maybe they are at limited supply, or you know, it's just the potential profits from items sometimes can still be, to this day, mind-blowing. But that's part of the game, and if people are willing to pay it, Amazon is the biggest seller, online seller, retailer in the world. So it's just our job then to take full advantage of that, basically, so we can maximize our opportunities. Where I am at the minute, I'm based in Northern Ireland, which is part of the UK, so I'll be talking, during this video, most things will be in pounds and pence. So I apologise to any of my American viewers. Hopefully I do have some American viewers, as I'm a new channel, but I appreciate your support. So unfortunately in this case it won't be cents and dollars. I am parked at the minute, I'm about to get out and have a search round or a source round, a shop known as The Range. The Range is a franchise or a chain, and it's very similar to the equivalent in America of Target or Walmart. So what I'm going to do is, I'll do my best here, because I do need to use my phone as well. I have the Amazon Sellers app, which I use to then qualify items. I'm going to discuss that as this video unfolds. So I'll be using that part of the time, but I'm going to do some recording at the same time, especially if we find some stuff. And the chances are, spoiler alert again, but if I have recorded this video and posted it on YouTube, then I probably have found some stuff, because the video wouldn't be much use if I couldn't actually show you the full process from start to finish. With all that being said, let's go check out the range.
Okay guys, as you can see then, we're approaching the branch known as the Range, which is similar to like Walmart or Target in America for our US viewers. And as we come in here, you can see Christmas is approaching, so Christmas offers are starting as we speak. Then this was recorded a couple of weeks ago, which was the end of October. As you can see then in the aisles, there's a lot of offers and deals, but I'll put you through sort of my thought process. Now I obviously know the layout of the land with this shop. I've been here before, and you can see then in the section that does the toys, there's a few clearance signs staring us in the face already. So that's an obvious starting point for us. You also notice then a lot of the clearance items are actually on the end of the aisles, which is normal practice that things that are on offer will normally be at the end of the aisles first. So it's a starting point for us guys. The Brussels Sprouts game, and again there's another game that's I'm gonna pan to here. The race nights, they're very popular for this time of year. Families get together and play games. I've seen they were reduced, so they were obvious items for me to scan, start off. I came across during my search this Bluey item, this Bluey toy, and again this Pikachu. So I'm going to save these items to a little bit further on down the line, where I discuss how I analyse and qualify products, and we're going to go through them both, and you'll find out then whether or not I actually purchased them. Following the search of the clearance items, then we go through the normal aisles to first of all see if there's anything reduced on the aisles. That'll be my next scanning point, and then to finish, then I'll have to do a walkthrough, run through the rest of the products that are on the sale or on the shelves, and then try to identify, even if they're just normally priced. From experience and doing this, you'll see and recognize good offers or good prices in comparison to what's online. So with all that being said, I'm going to jump back on the computer and we're going to go through how to actually do retail arbitrage. Okay guys, to conclude this video or close this video off, what I'm going to basically do now is show you a step-by-step guide on how to sell on Amazon FBA, which is fulfilled by Amazon, using RA, which is retail arbitrage. This is a model that I started off with. I still follow on occasion because it's fun. Making money is fun, let's be honest. And plus it's, I quite enjoy just being out and about in the shops, sourcing products, and again that'll be a decision you have to make with yourselves down the line. Which of the models do you actually enjoy the most, and that will be maybe the one that it's best for you to focus on. So, but as I say, the whole idea of this video is to give you suggestions on how to start selling, and then you can scale up from there. So step number one is then obviously create a seller's account on Amazon. To set up a seller's account is very simple. Just type in Amazon seller's account, UK if you're in the UK, United Kingdom, US if you're in USA, and to be honest, just the way things work, regardless of where you are, Google will pick up on your your location, so it will normally suggest or recommend the most appropriate type of account for you depending on where you live. So you go in, register and all that sort of thing, but what you're going to be asked then is what type of seller plan do you want. There are two main types or different types of Amazon seller FBA accounts. There's the individual account and then a business account, okay? But there are differences in both the price and the limitations that they offer. So we're going to jump on my computer here first. I've actually just simply Googled this to show you, just for US and UK sellers, what the differences are and what my recommendations would be, okay? So for any of you guys that are based in the US or US of A or United States, whatever way you prefer to call it, you'll see here that I'm on Amazon.com or Amazon US, and you can see here that for the individual price, the plan is $99. 99 cents for every item that you sell on the platform, and then any additional fees that may incur, that'll be shipping and so on. But that'll be explained slightly further down this video. If you then go for professional, so that's 99 cents per item sold. If you go for a professional or a business account, then it's $39.99 per month. Now that might seem steep, and the difference in the two may seem steep, but this is the crux of it, okay? If you're an individual seller, you can only send in at the very most, in one time you can only have 40 units held by Amazon in their warehouse, okay? if you have like a pro seller's account, professional account, whatever you want to call it, you can sell more than 40 units a month, which means then you have unlimited storage. Okay, I'm going to show then quickly for the UK guys as well. The fees are similar, but obviously converted to pounds. So it's 75 pence plus then VAT for every item that you sell on the individual or private account. Then for professional or business account, then it's 25 pounds a month. The difference then in the storage or the limitations, there's 35 items is all you can hold at one time with Amazon, where then it's more than 35 for UK. Now, regardless of where you're from and the prices, that's irrelevant in my opinion. I would be going to start off, as you mean to go on, I would be going for a professional or business account all day long. I know it seems to me, as a newbie, it may seem quite expensive, that sort of cost per month, but trust me, once you get going, you'll cover that and then some. The biggest restriction I had at the start, because I did start off thinking this is the more cost-effective option, but you'll soon find that when you do go out there and source, you'll start to get good at it very quick, and you'll find a lot more things profitable than you maybe first thought. And then you've got this limitation then immediately that as you're setting stock in, you get restricted in the amount of stock you can send in or ship in, because then you have gone for this private account. You don't want that limitation, because for a lot of items that you're going to source, they'll probably sell all year round. So you'd rather have Amazon looking at them than looking for them. So it's gonna stifle your progression if you limit yourself now. That's my personal opinion anyway. I think a lot of the guys who do this would probably say the same. So you can select which one you want to go for, but I would be pushing you towards the professional or business account if it was me starting out again. So take that as you will, but hopefully if you do follow my advice, you should find then that you'll thank yourself later. Okay. Step number 2 then is then to download the Amazon seller app. So once you have created your seller's account, you will have access to a seller app. Basically, once you download that, it's a slight variation in how it looks on your app store, regardless if you're Android or Apple. And you immediately use the same login details on that app as you would do then if you were logging in on your computer or laptop or whatever you've got. And you'll find automatically the two then will link together. That's very, very important then when it comes to your sourcing. So I'll show you why in a wee second. So step number 3 is to go and source your stock. So very, very simple. We're doing retail arbitrage here. So we're going to go visit retail outlets and shops. And my advice is sort of threefold, and I probably talked about it slightly there before when I was doing the wee walkthrough of the range. But I have sort of 3 tick boxes or 3 areas I go to in any shop. First of all, you're going to go immediately to the clearance areas, whether it be at the end of aisles or they have a certain clearance section or whatever. Check that out first, because obviously that's where you're going to get the potentially the best deals and the best profits. Secondly, then search around the non-sale areas just to have a look at any shop offers that might be going at that time, because you can find then that them offers are maybe only in that shop or that with that franchise. It's just a one-off that they're maybe just want to get rid of that stock or whatever it is, and you may find then you come across some gold. They're usually in the middle of aisles and stuff. They're not necessarily in a clearance area. And then lastly, and this is going to come with experience more than anything else, then just as you're browsing around the stock, whether it be toys or whatever you're sourcing, you'll find that over time you'll start to recognize if an item is good value. If it appears to be of good value, then scan it by all means and qualify it, because the chances are you're probably right. Your gut or your experience has got you on track, and it could be profitable. So it's not always going to be clearance areas that these items are going to be found. You may find that you've been spending ages walking past these offers, so it's not always just in the clearance shelves. But that will be my order of preference. So go clearance first, then shop offers, and then items you may recognize of value. Step 4 then is qualifying the stock. Okay, and that will tend to differ with everybody with regards to parameters and what their goals are. But you're going to use the app then, and you're going to determine such things as, is it being sold on Amazon in the first place? Because if it's not, then don't touch it. It could be a shop brand. that's exclusive to that whatever shop you're sourcing in. It may not be listed on Amazon, so there's no point you even waste your time trying to qualify it because it's not being sold. If you send it in, you would need to create a new listing, and it will probably be against the IP or the intellectual property of whoever owns it. Just leave it, okay? Once you do find items, apologies, nearly speak today. Once you can find items that are being sold on Amazon, then your next question is, are they profitable? And then on top of that, you're going to determine how quickly, by using what's called the BSR, or the buyer's seller ranking, or best seller ranking, apologies, to give you an indication then if whether or not that item is being sold quickly or relatively slowly. And again, if it's profitable and it sells fast or slow, that will come down to you, your personal preference, and the model that you're trying to follow or develop, okay? So just to give you sort of a couple of examples here, I'm left a lot of space here, I could have put my head up there, but now, this is just when I was out, when you saw the video there, the clips of me being out the range, these are two items I actually found at the time. So I'm going to give you a wee idea of how I was looking at these products, and bear in mind at the time of recording this video, we're in November of 2022, so we're we are in that Q4 period, so people are now shopping for toys for Christmas. So toys are a good seller anyway. It's one of my products, my go-to products will be toys in the toy category, because they sell all year round, for birthdays and gifts and stuff all year round anyway. But then if you've got excess stock and you find near the end of the year you've maybe got it wrong with some of your stock, or you've got stock you want to get rid of, you'll find that naturally the sales will go up in toys on the approach to Christmas. So don't panic, it's one that it can sort of get you out of a hole. Now, this is a Pokemon, it was a teddy that if you touched it, then any sort of Pikachu started talking. And you can see here then that the item, once scanned, it's ranked, there's BSR rank is 120,266 in the toys category. I'll show you what that means in a second. And then it's currently been sold at £56.50. There's obviously a UK account, it's my account, it's linked to. And then if you go to the next page, if you click on this arrow here, it'll take you across to this page. And then I can actually go to, we're not doing seller fulfilled, which means you ship it from your house. We're sending it to Amazon, and Amazon are going to fulfill the order. The fees then are taken out into consideration, which is just their handling fees, storage fees, and their shipping and packing fees. If the item sells, that's what they'll take out of your profit. And this is the actual cost of the item. This item was down to $19.99. So it's been sold in the shop for $19.99. It's currently been sold on Amazon for £56. So you can see the difference there. Hard to believe that this happens, but it does. So take full advantage of it. And what the app allows you to do is then qualify the item and actually give you a ballpark idea of what actual profit after fees you should get. So this item, $24.75. Now, did I buy the item or not? That's what we're going to find out now. So this is, I have Googled this. You Google it as well. This is the Amazon bestseller ranking chart this one's for the UK. Because obviously I'm in the UK and sourced in the UK. But you can get this, there'll be 3 or 4 websites locally to you that will be offering this. So download it and keep a wee eye on this. So what this is basically telling you is, this is all the different categories that are available on Amazon. And then it's telling you the amount of units or different variations of products that are available within each category. So we're currently looking at the toy category, and there's over 6 million products, toys listed as we speak in the toys category for Amazon UK. What does that mean to you? Well, that shows you then that our Pikachu was about 120,000 from memory, the buyer sellers ranking. So it's within the first top 3% of sales in that category. Now, we're also in the run to Christmas. So did I buy that item? Well, first of all, it's extremely profitable. It's more than doubling its money. We're in the run into Christmas, so toys sell well. And it's within the top 3% of the toy category. Yes, I bought this item. Using my business model and what I like to do, I believe this item to be a good buy. And again, did all the checks, but it was a one-off item, unfortunately. So unfortunately I couldn't buy more than one, but we still got the one when it was there, okay? Example number 2 then, we came across this Blue A, sort of like a 2-pack wasn't a doll size, sort of wee plastic figurines. But Bluey again is a brand over here, that a cartoon character that's got very, very popular. Now he's ranked in within the top 3,500 ranking BSR in toys, selling for 20. I nearly could see that there. It's £23, and as you can see then when I click through and put in the details, it's only cost me £7.99, and the profit would be over £9. So we look at our ranking again, but we already sort of know this anyway. He's well within the top 1%, if not, we're talking not 0.2% of that category. So sales will be really fast, especially around the Christmas. So this is a definite buy. I think anybody that's watching this now, you'll see how your thinking needs to be. This is a definite buy, and on this occasion, I then asked the store if they had any more in their store and if there was any in the rest of that chain. So I ended up buying about 20 of these, and altogether, and I did take a bit of travel and a bit of time, but you can see why I'm very confident this item will sell not only for more than doubling your money, but it's going to sell extremely fast as well, which means you're going to get your profits back pretty quick, and you can use it again. Okay guys, that brings me on to step number 5, and it's basically just to purchase the stock, which might seem quite an obvious step, yes, but you've got to see at the start especially, you're going to have to make buying decisions like how many do you actually buy, how many of the units do you actually buy, or what's available to you. And then should you clear the shelf, are there any more in the stock of that shop, again asking staff. And then is it a chain you're in, and again do they have a similar item in other shops as well, because that might then make the decision for you that if it's a really like if it's that Bluey, the Bluey example, the second example I showed you, the Bluey figurine, then you're going to want to get your hands on as many of them as you can, obviously within whatever budget you have set in place. So that's when it comes to purchase an item, there's a few decisions that will be involved with that, as the amount of what's available to you. Sometimes it'll be like that Pikachu where there's only one, it's a definite buy, but unfortunately it's just the one, so take it when it's there anyway. Don't look a gift horse in the mouth, and move on to the next one. Step 6 then is to pack your stock. Now again, the first thing you're going to have to check as a new seller, you'll not be aware of this, is there's dimensions. Amazon have a contract with UPS, and basically you'll make, how do I put this? Basically, because of the special contract, as a seller, you have the luxury of like reduced fees for actual shipping, because it's going to go to a fulfillment center, or an Amazon fulfillment center. But with that being said, there are limitations on. There's different types of packaging and boxes and stuff, regardless of, it all depends on the size of the box and the weight of the actual box as well. Now, this changes quite regularly, so you'll see what I've done here. This changes quite regularly, so what I've done then is a quick Google search just to sort of give me the up-to-date dimensions. I was going to pull it up there, there's not much point because it could change by the time you see this video, but it'll give you an idea both on the maximum weight that each box should be, and the size then. Make yourself aware of that then, because you don't want to buy items that are maybe too big, or it won't all fit in that box. Now don't get me wrong, if it's bigger and the box is bigger, it becomes heavier, you still fill it, go for it, fill your boots, but then you're going to incur additional shipping fees, so just bear that in mind. Make yourself familiar with that. It's all the information will be in your seller's account anyway, so that's something for you to sort of look into, just so you don't get caught out that you're sending in a fairly profitable box and all of a sudden there's a bigger chunk out of it because of shipping you hadn't taken into consideration. Quick box hack then for you is that you can buy boxes. There are plenty of online outlets that do that and ship boxes to you, including Amazon actually. They also have a lot of different storage options for you, but I'm going to call it a box hack because it's something I do when I'm at a shop and I'm sourcing items, especially a local shop like a smaller newsagent type shop. I'll always ask them if they have any spare boxes out the back. And 9 times out of 10, somebody hasn't yet put them in the bin or broke them down to put them into whatever container they use, normally for recycling rather than being reused. So they're 9 times out of 10 they've welcomed my offer with open arms, and you get a lot of boxes almost thrown at you for free. So again, that can, if you don't buy them, if you buy them in, then it can eat into your profits. So it's just a nice way to save a bit of money. You're recycling, it's good for the environment and all that, but it's more importantly, it's profit. It helps you increase your profit. Okay. When I'm putting the items in the box then and wrapping them up, then the other two items I just use for convenience and speed is I buy a big roll of bubble wrap, and then I'll just put a bit, I'll cut a bit and wrap it around each item and set it in, just to make sure then that it gets to Amazon that wee bit safer, but also then it saves you having to wrap it up in other ways. It's just very, very quick and simple to use. Stops them moving about in the box and stops them getting damaged. And then strong parcel tape then, because you're going to want to seal your box and you're going to want to make sure then that everything's nice and secure and gets again safely to Amazon. So I do trust the UPS guys that all collect and deliver my parcels, but if it's not properly sealed then and they're throwing these boxes in and out of their lorries or the trucks or vans, whatever they're using, then there's always a chance that they come open and then your stock becomes damaged, so it's not worth it. Get good strong parcel tape rather than going for something that's a cheaper alternative. Okay. Step number 7 then is to ship your stock. So as I said, Amazon have a partnership with UPS. When you create your order, and there's videos, I can create one for you if you want. So drop us a comment on that as well. And I create a separate Amazon sellers guide on how to use their seller account. But you'll get 2 options then on how to actually send your items. So there's drop-off centers that'll be, depending on where you live, there could be more or less, but you may find some are convenient on the way to work, or they're just convenient to where you live. So you can elect to then drop it off at a center, and a UPS guy on his route, or UPS lady even on their route, will collect that parcel for you, and you'll see then the tracking will be uploaded to your account and stuff, so you can see if it's been collected and what stage of delivery it's at. Or then you can just get it collected from either your home or work address. So you've got that option. You've got sort of 2 options there to sort of cover all for anybody who's sending a package in. Then step 8 is to monitor your stock. What I mean by that is you can keep an eye on your app. You can do it in your account as well, but it's handy to do it in your app, and you can actually keep an eye on how long it takes from the date of collection to when the actual item goes live. And then you may want to monitor how long does it take to actually sell, and do you have to adjust the price? Has the price crashed? Is there a lot of competition on that there? Do you want to get rid of it quickly, or do you want to hold out? Again, depends on your circumstances and your goals and what type of model you've personally created for yourself. But monitoring this stock then can help you make better buying decisions. So say you set in 5 different products and 5 of each, one in particular sells extremely fast, like you can't get enough of them. You may want to purposely on your next sourcing outing target that actual item and not buy any others. So it can affect your buying decisions, so it's good to monitor your stock. Okay. Then step number 9 is the rinse and repeat. So basically from what we've started to the finish, follow that through, and you may want to use your profits to scale up. You may want to just use only your profits as keep your profits aside and go back with the original money, or you may want to then add that to your original pot and then buy more products, or by monitoring the stock and stuff, you may change how you buy for the next couple of times, just because you want to really take off with this. And so use that information as handy to you, the information that you've now gleaned from your first shipping or first shipment, to then make better buying decisions and really scale and ramp up your business. You may want to broaden your sourcing then, so by going to different chains of shops, different types of shops, and by going into different categories. So I recommend that anybody starting goes into toys first, because it sells all year long, and then you've got that additional Q4 roll into Christmas. But you may find that you're an expert in some other fields, and you can identify even quicker better deals. Maybe something random like you're a fishing guru, or you're into chess, or you're into collectibles, or whatever it may be. You may find that your wee niche that you're into is something that you can maybe target. So it's always good to broaden your broad spectrum of products that are on Amazon to sort of increase your opportunities for both profit and success. And then you may want to consider the other models we talked about at the very start of this video, or earlier on in the video, and you may build your profits up to a point where you then want to go into and you understand how everything works, and you want to maybe go into online arbitrage, you maybe want to scale into wholesale arbitrage. So that has happened to a lot of people too, where then that's their way of actually scaling it up and making it then a bit more hands-free or hands-off the business. So they're doing a lot of it then remotely rather than having to actually travel to shops. So that's all going to be part of the decision-making process as we carry on in this journey. And apart from that, that's my step-by-step guide. I apologize, I did try to make this video quite short, or as short as I could for it to become beginner-friendly. But I've just then decided to just go for it and give you as much information as I sort of can, as quickly as I can, to help you guys on your journey as new sellers on Amazon FBA. I hope you found it of some benefit. If you've liked this video at all, or you've gleaned anything from this video, or if it's motivated you to get going, or whatever the case may be, drop us a comment below to let me know what you think. Like the video if you've liked it, dislike it if you think it's terrible, it's fine. Feel free to subscribe to my channel. I can nearly say that as I say I'm a new YouTuber, so subscribe to the channel just to show your support. And until the next video, until the next time, until your journey, get out there, get buying, get selling, and make some money. And until the next one, take care of yourselves, and bye for now.